Hey, welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're diving into something that's, kind of like the hidden front line in the fight against global health threats, animal health surveillance. Yeah, it sounds a little technical, but trust me, it's one of the most powerful tools we have to protect, well, all of us.
All right, so let's just jump right in with the biggest question of all. How in the world do you stop a pandemic before it even starts? It feels like this massive, almost impossible task, right? Well, believe it or not, the answer is surprisingly simple, at least in concept.
See, the answer lies in keeping a constant, vigilant watch over the health of animals all around the globe. It's kind of like a global neighborhood watch, but instead of looking for suspicious characters, we're looking for dangerous diseases.
And this watching isn't just about one thing. It has a whole bunch of really critical goals. Yeah, early detection is huge, but it's also about proving a region is totally free from a certain disease. And why does that matter? Well, it's absolutely crucial for things like safe international trade and, the big one, protecting our public health.
Okay, so to get all this done, the experts in this, let's call it a global watchtower, they have these three main tools in their toolkit. Now, they sound kind of similar, but they do very, very different jobs. We're talking about survey, monitoring, and surveillance. Let's break them down.
Okay, first up, we've got a survey. The easiest way to think about this is like taking a super detailed photograph. It's a one-shot deal, a deep dive to see exactly what's going on with the disease in one specific area at one specific moment in time. It's a snapshot, plain and simple.
All right, next up is surveillance. So if a survey is that one-time photo, surveillance is the security camera that's just always rolling 24/7. It's this ongoing, systematic collection and analysis of data, all designed to catch the very first signs of trouble. This is our early warning system.
And rounding out our toolkit, we have monitoring. Think of this as the report card. After we've actually done something like, say, rolled out a big vaccination campaign, monitoring is what tells us, hey, is this thing even working? It's how we check our work and make sure our efforts are actually making a difference.
Okay, so let's make this super concrete and see how these tools play together in the real world. We'll use foot and mouth disease as an example. First, you'd use a survey, that snapshot, to figure out just how bad the problem is in, say, one single district. Then, you'd have ongoing surveillance across the whole country. That's the movie part, where farmers are reporting any signs and markets are being checked, all to catch new cases as early as possible. And finally, after you roll out a vaccine, you use monitoring, the report card, to track the disease rates and see if the vaccine is actually stopping the spread. So you see, it's the snapshot, the always-on movie, and the final report card. Each one has a specific job.
All right, so we get why we're looking for these diseases, but how experts actually search for them is just as important. And let me tell you, they don't just wander around randomly. Let me give you an analogy that makes this super clear. Imagine you're in a brand new city, you're feeling sick, and you need to find a doctor. Pronto. Okay, option A. You could just start knocking on random doors. That's kind of like a basic survey. You might find a doctor, but wow, is that inefficient? Or there's option B. You could go to specific places, but maybe the wrong ones, like a movie theater or a bus station. Yeah, you're targeting locations, but you're looking in all the wrong spots. But then there's option C, the smart way. Go straight to a hospital. Why? Because you're focusing your search where you are most likely to find what you're looking for.
And that, right there, is the whole idea behind what's called risk-based surveillance. It means by understanding all the risk factors, where a disease likes to hang out, how it spreads, the experts can point all their resources to the places where they'll have the biggest impact. It makes the entire system way more efficient.
Okay, so we're watching, we're looking in all the right places, but what's the actual tripwire? What's the thing that happens that makes everyone go, okay, drop everything, we have a problem? What even is an outbreak, really?
Let's do a quick quiz. Is this an outbreak? 4 little kids with a cough and a runny nose at a daycare center in the middle of December. Nah, probably not, right? That's pretty much what you'd expect to see that time of year.
Okay, scenario 2. Is this an outbreak? Just one. Single case of smallpox. Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. That is a full-blown code red 5-alarm fire. So what's the difference?
It's because the official definition of an outbreak is all about what's expected. It's when you see more cases of a disease than you would normally expect in a certain area among a certain group of people over a certain period of time. So for a cold in a daycare in winter, a few cases is totally normal. But for smallpox, a disease that's been wiped out, the number of expected cases is 0.
So even just one case, that's a catastrophic outbreak. It's all about context.
So the alarm's been pulled, an outbreak is confirmed, and now the real detective work begins. Let's dig into the anatomy of an investigation.
From the second an outbreak starts, it is an absolute race against the clock. You have the very first animal that gets sick, that's the primary case, but from that moment until a real response actually begins, days, sometimes even weeks can go by. In that gap, that's the window where the disease is spreading silently, uncontrollably. The faster we can slam that window shut, the more cases we can prevent. In these situations, speed is everything.
And one of the first and most critical tools that investigators use is something called the epidemic curve, or EpiCurve for short. It looks like a simple bar chart, really. It just plots the number of new cases each day. But this one chart is incredibly powerful. From this, they can see the outbreak size, figure out if it was a one-time exposure or if it's still spreading, and they can even get a good guess at the incubation period. It's basically the fingerprint of the outbreak.
And look, the investigation itself isn't some chaotic free-for-all. It's a super-structured, 10-step scientific process. It all starts with just confirming, yep, this is a real outbreak. Then they define what a case even looks like, and they start finding victims systematically. From there, they develop a hypothesis, a theory on how this thing is spreading. And then they test that theory, and only then do they roll out control measures and communicate their findings. It's methodical, it's deliberate, and it's based on solid evidence.
Which brings us to one last, really important thought to leave you with. We've just walked through these incredible, complex systems that are in place to watch for and investigate diseases. But here's the powerful question this all leads to. If all this surveillance information is collected, but it's never actually used to take action, was any of it worth the effort? You can have the best warning system in the world, but it means nothing without the will to act on that warning. Something to chew on. Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.